In a coordinated protection system, circuit breakers and fuses work in conjunction with one another, so that a portion of the distribution system can be isolated for service, while the majority of the system continues to receive electricity. This process is known as sectionalizing. Circuit breakers and fuses are not the only devices that can be used to protect distribution systems from damage due to faults. Many systems also use reclosers and sectionalizers for fault protection. This is an example of a three-phase recloser connected to a distribution feeder. A recloser is an automatic switch that can interrupt or establish the flow of electricity through a distribution line. Reclosers differ from circuit breakers in that they are generally smaller and light enough to be mounted on distribution poles. Some power companies use reclosers in place of circuit breakers in their distribution systems. In other cases, both circuit breakers and reclosers may be used. Another protective device that is generally used in conjunction with reclosers is a sectionalizer. A sectionalizer, like a recloser, is also basically a switch. The difference between a sectionalizer and a recloser is that most sectionalizers cannot open an energized line. In most cases, a line must be de-energized before the sectionalizer can open. In many systems, sectionalizers are used to connect feeders and laterals. Let's again use the simplified drawing of a single feeder with 3 laterals to demonstrate how sectionalizers and reclosers work. On this drawing, we'll replace the circuit breaker in the system with a recloser, and we'll replace the fuses on the laterals with sectionalizers. At present, the system is operating normally, and both the feeder and the laterals are energized. If a fault occurs on the feeder, the recloser will operate in a similar manner to that of a circuit breaker. That is, it will sense the fault and open, momentarily de-energizing the feeder. If the fault clears, the recloser will automatically energize the line after a specific period of time has passed. If the fault does not clear, the recloser will again sense the fault and open to de-energize the line. In most cases, the recloser can be programmed to open and close a set number of times before locking out. Once a recloser has locked out, substation or T&D personnel must clear the fault and reset the recloser before the feeder can be energized. Sectionalizers are used to connect laterals to feeders to provide fault protection. However, if a fault occurs on a lateral protected by a sectionalizer, a different process is used for sectionalizing. In this case, if a fault occurs on this lateral, the recloser will sense the fault and open, de-energizing the feeder. If the fault clears, the system will be returned to normal. However, if the fault continues, the recloser will again open, and it will remain open for a longer period of time. This time delay is enough to cause the sectionalizer to open, isolating the faulted lateral. When the recloser again energizes the line, service is restored to the feeders and all but the faulted lateral. What we've just demonstrated is a second example of sectionalizing. The basic difference between using circuit breakers and fuses for sectionalizing, or reclosers and sectionalizers, is whether or not the feeder is energized when a faulted lateral is